All right, come on in. Let's start at my desk right over here. I think what I love most about this desk is that it was under $500. I got most of the items from IKEA. Did talk about it in a previous video, which I'll link up here, but at like a high level, it's essentially a kitchen countertop. It's the Carlby if you're looking for it. It's in walnut. I love walnut, it's my favorite color. I have some Amazon legs that I found for a standing desk, which I don't really use that often. I use it like for 4% of the time in standing mode. And then I've got two Alex drawers over here for like tons and tons of organization. We won't go into that, but there's lots and lots of space, and that entire setup is like under $500, which I absolutely love. Now, if we're moving from like the right side to the left side, this area over here is probably one of my favorites that we've built out, primarily because I can use it for flat lays, and then I can just move the light over for all of my A-roll. So starting at the light, I've got this bicolor 100-watt light that runs on a battery. It's from June. It's called the Molus X100. Bicolor because the light in this room changes all the time, so I can dial it in specifically to the sun and where it's positioned during the day. But also because it's on an articulating arm, I can do flat lays in this area with my DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is like a killer camera. It looks so good for flat lays. And then I just used the little polarizer from Freewell to like dial in the like sheen that's happening on the desk over here. I have that attached to an iFootage clamp spider crab arm, which is like the best. I can find the right angle on whatever I need there. And then that is just attached to a small rig desk mount lighting setup, which I'll just link below. If we move across, we'll just talk specifically about the camera that's over here. This is the Lumix GH7. The reason why I'm shooting with this is actually because of the XLR audio unit on the top. This allows you to record 32-bit float audio, which basically means that you have more latitude. So if I'm super loud, it won't peak. If I'm super quiet, I can bring that up. That is connected to my computer to use as a webcam. And then there's an HDMI that is connected to the Ninja Atomos V right here, which means I can monitor my shot. But on the back side of it, I have the Atomos Connect, which allows me to actually send the signal from my camera to Matt, my manager, who's watching and just making sure I'm saying all the right things. And we can use that both like on location here or if we're out in the field shooting. So I love that setup. Plus you can also send proxies to your editor in real time. That's dope. Talking about computers, I have the Studio display from Apple here that is connected to my M1 Mac Studio, but I am primarily working off of a laptop, which is the new MacBook Pro M3 Max. That thing is a machine. We do incorporate a bit of PC into our workflow, but not as often as Apple products. Talking about the keyboard, I'm just using the normal Apple keyboard with this Grove-made walnut kind of like insert, which is more of just like an aesthetic choice because I love walnut. It is the best of all the woods. I'm also using the Apple mouse. I know a lot of people are gonna throw hate for that because of the charging port underneath. I like it. It just works for my workflow, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Why don't you sit down and get comfortable? This is an office tour, we're just chilling. Okay, let's move into some stuff that isn't like tech focused, but is part of my productivity. So if you've watched any other office tours, you're familiar with this. This is Analog from Unblock. Essentially, it is just a really fancy to-do list. So typically my workflow is that I will data dump in notes on Apple, just all the different things I have to accomplish in that week. And then I'll go through that list and I'll pick the top 3 most important for the day. And then I'll write those down. And then at least when I get distracted, I'll be like, right, you have to get that done. That will be a good day if you get these 3 things done. Anything else is a bonus. So that's why I like this, because it helps me stay on track for the important tasks of the day. And moving over to another analog device, this is a 15-minute hourglass. And really it's less about the actual timer itself and more about the intention about focusing on a single task. So basically I'll flip this over and I'll go edit 5 photos that you're gonna post to Instagram. And what I'm gonna do is now just stay focused on that single thing for the next 15 minutes. Whether or not I finish it earlier or later, at least I'm setting the intention about one single thing. Moving back into the world of tech, we're gonna talk about one AI product that we've incorporated into our workflow. This is a product from a company called Plot, and this is essentially a note-taking AI device. What you do is you take the Plot out, you press record, it starts to record the entire meeting, and then it uses ChatGPT 4.0 to create a summary of that meeting with all the action items. It's recording, so I can go back and listen to it, but mostly the actual summary is so detailed and it's so great. It comes with this little MagSafe device right here, just goes on the back of your iPhone. And because of the vibrations, it can listen to your voice and someone else's voice. in a Zoom meeting and or your phone calls. It will record that for internal purposes, and now you have summaries there too. When it comes to audio, I'm using the Apple AirPods Pro, small, noise cancellation, so less distractions, and connects right away. One of the best products Apple ever made. Over here is just an articulating arm that I have for a microphone. This is the Shure MV7, I believe it is called. And basically it records with both XLR and it can connect to your computer with USB-C so that you can do internal recordings or voiceovers. Across the desk here, we just have 3 AC outlets, a USB-C and a USB for quick charging on the fly. And then on the end of the desk, I have a Google Home Mini, which I can listen to music. I can also check the doorbell when it rings and control the lights that are behind the desk. All right, so moving over to the chairs that we're currently sitting in right now. This is the most comfortable office chair I have ever owned. I turned 33 this year and I've started to take my health very, very seriously, mainly because of back pain. So this is really nice. You can customize all the settings for your comfort for like long periods of time. And I still think to this day, the 2 best things that you can ever invest in are the chair that you sit in the most, as well as your bed. And in this case, this chair is so good for my health. It means I can sit for long periods of time without pain or needing to like do any weird stretches to like maintain myself. It just holds up. Plus the build quality is so good. It's Herman Miller. I feel like we all know this at this point. They have like a reputation for like great quality. Growing up, I was always like handed down chairs from my parents that were like, the side is like flopping in on one area. Your back always hurts. There's like a nail digging into the side of you. The leather's always peeling. Why is the leather always peeling even if it's good quality leather? But this build quality, you know it's gonna last. And Herman Miller even offers a 12-year warranty for those that are curious. Overall, probably the best office chair I've ever owned. Good for my health, good build quality, and it matches the office perfectly. The aesthetics are on point. And behind me right here is a walnut slat wall. We installed this for like a few different reasons. Number one, it actually has acoustic properties. So behind the wood is like this really like soft foam core material, which allows you to like mount it really nicely, but it also just helps to keep this room very quiet. And this is a very loud room. We have hardwood floors in here. So whatever we can do to dampen the sound to have better audio quality is a huge win. Also, because the lines are going straight up, it makes the room feel bigger. And considering this is actually quite a small office for 2 people to work in, anything that we can do to make the room feel bigger, both on camera and while you're in it, is absolutely essential. For all the gear nerds out there, you probably saw this camera in the corner of the shot. Let's talk about this for a second. So this is my like grab a quick shot, vlog around the house, vlog outside. It's just like a camera that's set up all the time, super lightweight that we can shoot with. So it's the Lumix S9 with a Sigma 16-28 2.8 with a Freewell ND on the front. It's a variable ND and PL, which is super nice. All on top of this Freewell tripod, which is carbon fiber. So this is like super, super light. I can lift this entire thing with a pinky finger, if that means anything. It's light and it's the same quality of any of my main big cameras, which is super nice with like 422 color, 10-bit, all that good stuff. Moving across the room, green, dark green is like my favorite color. So we went for like a hunter green, but I'll actually put the specific Sherwin-Williams paint color code for anybody who's curious in the description below. I have a walnut hook from my friends Becky and Chris so we can hang jackets. I have a fake plant because I travel lots and I don't take care of these things well. There's actually a pretty good chance that somehow I'll kill this plant right here, but it's good for in the background of shots and makes it feel like something's alive in here, like our spirits. This desk is just from Effie Desk. I just ordered it online, but it actually leaves a lot of fingerprints. So we got a desk mat from Harbour London to hide all of that. And it's really nice because this is on wheels. We can move it out, grab flat lays, do our podcast setup. So this just makes it more versatile. Plus it's a standing desk. So lots of options to play with. And then this chair, also from Herman Miller, is Matt's preference. This is the Sayl chair. A few less options in terms of customization, but the big one is that it's very, very comfortable and has lots of lumbar support, which you can dial in right over here with this feature. Great chair. I'll link both those chairs in the description. Okay, so moving over to this built-in right here. Each one of these drawers has some organization in it, and I have a shelf with just a whole bunch of different interests. So let's go through a few of those things. I have a lamp over here, and in the lamp, I have this light bulb from Aperture. This is the Accent B7C. It runs on a battery, so basically I can have this in the background of my shots for practical lighting without having cables dangling down in the shot since there's no AC power over here. Moving across, I love coffee so deeply. So this is one of my favorite magazines. If you're a coffee lover, this is Drift. This is my small collection that I have. I'm gonna keep adding to it. On top of that, I have a candle that my mom gifted me called Kyoto in Bloom. It smells so good. It makes like the room such a vibe while you're working. And actually on the Japan note is a good segue into this item that I brought back from Japan when I was in a thrift store. I think it's meant for like a little tiny train set, but basically it's all the different stops that exist in Japan. I actually don't know what they say. Maybe somebody can tell me there, but this is just more about the ideology of me going into thrift stores and collecting little trinkets along during my travels. Over here, I just so badly at some point in my life would love to have a vintage Porsche. This is essentially the car I would like, a cream white cabriolet Porsche, and yes, it is Porsche, not Porsche. I always get to look when I say Porsche, but I worked with the brand one time and they made me watch a YouTube video on repeat to be able to say that over and over again. So now it's just drilled into my psyche. Moving on to one of my favorite projects, this is Unblock. This is more of just a memory of a card drop that I did last year. This is a deck of cards to help you through creative blocks, so it will guide you through it. There's actually only a few more of these left, so I will make them available to buy. Once they are gone forever, and what our plan is to hopefully bring this to a publisher so that we can have that out there. So if anyone knows a publisher, please send Matt an email in the description below. And now the part that everybody loves when I do the like office tour in person, the gear closet. You ready? Come over on this side over here. 3, 2, 1. Oh, and the lights turn on. All the lenses, all of the cameras available, accessible, fully charged, and ready to go. Every time I open this, it's such a cool reminder of being like, not only is this my job and I love my job, but it's just all the different paintbrushes that we get to paint with in this industry, and they're available, they're accessible, they're easy to find, and at any given moment, literally within like a half an hour, I can fully pack for a shoot because I know where everything is. Every single one of these drawers is specific to a certain area. So I got hard drives here, tripods there, charging right there, grip right there. I have audio right there. I have my drones right there. I have my GoPros right there. I can find everything down to even the tiniest screw for a camera built in seconds. And that organization is so crucial to workflow. I used to never take that too seriously in the past. I'd just have gear scattered around the house and be like, all right, the microphone is over here and this is over here. And then it would take me hours to pack. I've now looked at my job in so many different ways that the organization, the preparation of tech, having batteries charged is as important as the creative itself. And this is a representation of where my mindset is these days. I've been diving more into like stoicism and discipline, and by putting everything back into the spot it's supposed to go, it means in the future I can go and find it, which allows me to get back to my creative process more often. I also love to just stare at that all day, but we have to finish the tour, so let's continue. These are some of my favorite photos that I've taken. These are photos of the band Bring Me the Horizon. Yes, I am a metalhead. I actually used to play in a metal band, which I started with my grade 12 English teacher after I graduated high school. It was called the Bloody Five, and this is the bass. I used to play bass in that band, so this is a little throwback to that. And that bass is actually connected up to this amp right here through a wireless system. I love this brand. It is called Positive Grid. 2 reasons why I love it. Number 1, they make great quality products. I can just customize whatever sound I want through my iPad in the pedals. But number 2, fun fact, Positive Grid was the first brand to ever sponsor me or give me a opportunity or a branded piece of content. Back in the day, I did these videos of me like surfing and playing guitar, and they had this like little device where I could plug it in and play guitar wirelessly, so it worked while I was surfing. And they were the first people to ever trust their brand with my brand. And what I want you to take away from that is that if you do have a dream of pursuing this or whatever it might be in an artistic field, don't forget to cherish the moments when people give you an opportunity, because it is proof that what you do has value in the world, and just carry that with you until the next project and the next project and the next project. Celebrate those small wins until you're 16 years later and this has become your full-time career. And I can't take credit for this interior design, so shout out to Charlotte Ferrari, who was the interior designer on this office build out. She's also helped me design my house. It looks so good, so if you want to find her work, I will leave a link in the description. I didn't realize you were still here. Come on. I've got work to do. You've got work to do. Thank you so much for watching the office tour.